Hey guys, so today I actually went out and reached out to everyone who I am Facebook friends with and asked them what they would like to ask me. Any questions that they have for me or just in general about cancer. I really just wanted to be able to answer those questions for anyone because I know if I didn't go through this myself, there would be so many things that I still wouldn't understand. And I know it was probably difficult for you or anyone to ask questions because you didn't want to offend me or say the wrong thing or not know if it's an okay question to ask. For some people, it might be, but if you know me, then you know I'm an open book. And I really just want to, to the best of my ability, help you and others realize certain things about cancer and get your questions answered. So what I have here is a whole bunch of questions that y'all have asked me. Just ignore the cat. Yeah, just okay. So I'm just going to, I've seen these questions briefly, like when y'all have commented, I've seen it, but I haven't actually like sat and thought about it. So this is gonna be the first time I've actually like read it out loud and think about it. So these are gonna be some pretty on the spot real answers for you. Very first question is from Tiffany, and it says, I want to know how you are such a beautiful person to manage to be so open and honest. First off, thanks, that's really sweet. And just so strong about everything. That is just terribly tough to go through. You rock. So how do I manage to be so open and honest? I don't think being open and honest really came along with the whole cancer thing. It's just what I've always lived by and have hoped that other people would too. I mean, I get a lot of criticism from even just my family about how open I am because I have no filter. And yeah, it can be a bad thing because a lot of people can't handle it and don't know how to react to it and respond. But for me to be open and honest, it's just always been the best thing to do, I feel like. I mean, there's no sense in lying. And to be open about stuff like this, about cancer, I think it's the best way to kind of handle it. If you're open about it and talk about it, you're honest and you're happy, then really there's nothing else to fear or be afraid of. And just everyone should try to be open and honest. It is hard at sometimes, but once you start doing it for a long time, it just comes like that. It comes that easy and it just becomes part of who you are. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I hope it does. Next one is from Sierra. It seems like you've always been so positive throughout your journey. What or who inspired you to be that way? So positive throughout my journey. Right now, thinking back on the whole journey, having cancer, it does seem like I was positive and it was easy, but it wasn't. It wasn't always like that. I know when I first got diagnosed and everything was going on, I wasn't positive. But if you just sit around and you think of all the negatives, like why, and of course I thought like, why did this happen to me? Who wouldn't think that? But when I would think like, why me? Like even at times I would bring religion into it and I would blame God. Like, why would God do this to me? Obviously he didn't do it to me, but you just think things like that. You can't help but think things like that. And what you realize is when you just have all those negative thoughts in your head, it gets you nowhere. If anything, it makes you feel even less of a person. So being positive just comes along with it. You just learn it over time. Actually, today, I don't know if you can see this pin on my chest, it's a little crooked, was a Relay for Life dinner. And you hear all these people talk about their experience with cancer and stuff, and you hear them say like, it changes all of us and we're all positive people. And I think if you do get diagnosed with cancer, then you realize how different you do change your whole mindset. If you have cancer, you probably see things way different than someone who hasn't. So if you don't, you may see it like, how did these people with cancer get through it? You know, how did they do it? And I think just having it teaches you to be positive, to think positive. And I never like forced myself to think positive. I think just with everything happening, it forced me to think in a different perspective. I had to think positive, because if I wasn't positive, there would be no way of getting through it. There would be no way that I would have been a survivor, because you just have to be positive. You have to think, okay, here in the future, and I just got to get through this, and I got to get through that. You got to be positive, or else you won't make it through it. And if you do, it's just going to have been a tough ride for you, and it's going to be tough regardless. But if you're not positive, it's going to be even tougher. And that's with any situation, not just with cancer, with anything. If you suffer from depression or anxiety, I know positive thoughts may be hard to come by, but you just have to find a way and do it, and it'll really help. I didn't realize how hard answering these questions would be, like right on the spot without thinking about it, but I'm trying. This next one is from James. From a guy who lost his best friend, his grandma, his strength at an early age to cancer, I want to know, how do and did you feel or felt going through the whole process? I never got a chance to ask her that. So first off, I'm really sorry for your loss. And how did you feel or felt going through the whole process? So it was very challenging at times. I mean, because I did all of it. You know, I did chemotherapy, I did radiation, I did a stem cell replacement, which is the bone marrow transplant. And how I felt going through it, I think more than physical, it is a mental struggle. Of course, you feel sick and you feel lazy and you don't want to do anything, and you're just waiting for that day to be over, and it never feels like it's gonna end. Other than that, like, it's like I said, it's a mental thing. You sometimes, you know, question yourself and your ability, and the process is a hard process, I'm not gonna lie. And to be honest, sometimes I regret being as strong as I was through it. I feel like I held my end so high that when other people see me, like, for example, like people saying, oh, you're positive and oh, you're so strong, I kind of regret putting that image out there. And I don't know if that will make sense to you, but when I did have hard days, because the process was hard, when I had hard days, I feel like I wasn't allowed to complain or feel crappy or bring someone into it and tell them, hey, I feel this way, because they're gonna be like, why? It's been easy so far, so how come it's not easy anymore? No, it has never been easy. And that's where I regret being so strong, because I feel like I've made it appear that it is so easy, but it's not. None of it was. None of it. And that's where I was saying, like, just be positive. If you appear positive, people will think you got this, like, she got this, like it's nothing. I'm glad I put that image out there, but, like, honestly, I struggled so hard. You might not think I struggled at all, but this obviously changed my life completely. So the process was difficult. I know at times I would question my religion and who was there and who really cared. And sometimes I hated that so many people wanted to be friends again. And I'm blessed and I'm happy that I have all the friendships that I do have now. And I appreciate all those who have made amends and we can be on good terms again. I'm so thankful for that. But I hate that all these things had to happen in order to make those friendships again. And that's part of the process, I think, is you lose people, but you also gain people. And through the whole process, I felt crappy and miserable and didn't know what was next. But after all of it, I know that it all happened for a reason. I don't regret a single day of it. I don't regret getting sick or getting sick twice or anything. Everything happens for a reason. There is a reason why this happened, and I am blessed for it. I am no longer angry or hurt. I'm truly blessed. All right, so here's another one from Elise. I feel like you've had a lot more bad days your first go around of having cancer than your second go around. Whenever you had your bad days and nothing seemed to go right the first time around, what was your breath of fresh air and what kept you going to push through? So yeah, I think the first time was a lot more difficult because I didn't know what to expect. You know, the second time around, I already knew, and I kind of, you know, I could actually talk to the doctors and the nurses like, oh, you're about to do this, and oh, here's my arm, put the IV in this arm and this and that. Like, I knew what to expect. Yes, the first time, I think I was just clueless, so I was scared. And it's just like with anything that you do for the first time, you don't know what to expect and you're frightened. So whenever I did have a bad day, I honestly couldn't see the end of the tunnel. It was really tough. And back then I did have my cat. I mean, not that one, but I had my cat for 15 years, which is, I got him when I was 5, so I just lost him right before I got sick again. So I did chemo away from home, and I guess you could say he is something that pushed me through, is knowing I could get back to him. And you might not understand, but if you have a pet and you're a pet lover or an animal lover, then I think you might get it. I literally don't know or didn't know what it was like to live without him. I'd had him since I was 5. Like, since I was 5. So I would just be like, okay, well, 5 more days, I get to go home and I can see him. And it's so funny because my cat would stress out. He would like go bald. His whole like back where his tail was, he would just go bald because he would stress out when I was gone. And I was seeing him when I got back, and I don't want to get emotional. But yeah, I think, I know it's weird. Probably my cat was what got me through it. Okay. All right, next question. Then this is from Melissa. What has been the most exhausting part of this whole journey? Aside from support from your family and friends, what helped you overcome it? The exhausting part is, I guess I could say I don't know if this will make sense, but exhausting part is my body. I don't know how to make that make any more sense. But I remember when I first got diagnosed, I was in great shape. I ran half marathons in high school. I did soccer and cross country and track and whatever. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to lose so much weight and I'm going to get so skinny. And when I get better, like, this is my encouragement. I'm like, when I get better, I can get back in shape because I'll be so skinny. I can start from scratch, my whole body from scratch, start over and be fit again. And little did I know, it was the exact opposite was going to happen to me, and I was going to gain 30 pounds. And now I'm dealing with like so much extra weight. So the exhausting part is trying to figure out, you know, every day seeing myself look different. The exhausting part is getting my body back to normal, back to where I want it to be. And I think that was the most exhausting part of my journey, is just seeing myself every day and knowing it would be so much work to get back to me, back to what is normal to me. And what helped me overcome it, I don't know if there was something that helped me overcome it, but just not thinking about it, I think, is really what does it. I never like sat around thinking about it. I would just kind of put it in the back of my head and just do each day as it came. and just looked forward to the future, just like kept thinking of the future. And I think that's what got me through everything and had me overcome everything and everything like that. This is, she goes by Kay. So, what made you decide to share your cancer journey in a vlog? So, actually, you guys did. I remember, I had so much time on my hands, and I was bored and I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I wasn't sure what about. I know people do like challenge videos and fun stuff and pranks and all this stuff. So I wrote on Facebook, hey, I want to make a YouTube channel. What should I do? And like almost every single person that commented was like, you should do it on your cancer journey. Like, we want to see what it's like and how you are and all this. At first, I didn't really want to do it because I didn't want to label myself as the person with cancer or make it anything about cancer. I didn't want people to know me for that. I wanted people to know me, for something else. Because I think I was so not embarrassed, but I didn't feel like cancer was me, and I still don't feel like cancer is me. Yes, I would love to share my knowledge and make people aware, but I don't want people to see me and just think cancer. Ever. And I don't know if that is wrong to the whole cancer community. I don't think I've accepted it to the point where that's where I want to be known for. I want to be known for myself. And I'm sure that's how any person would think. And this video is getting so lengthy. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry guys, I didn't realize how many questions I really had and how much into depth I would get with these answers. So what I'm actually going to do is make a separate second video with the rest of the questions, just so I can get everyone's questions answered and elaborate on them, because I don't want to cut anybody short. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you.